Order, order. Who is the defendant today? Gaius Julius Caesar or Augustus? So, do we have the wrong guy? No, Your Honor. Gaius Octavius, born in 63 BCE, was the grandnephew of Julius Caesar. He became Julius Caesar upon being named his uncle's adoptive son and heir, and he gained the title Augustus in 27 BCE when the Senate granted him additional honors. You mean when he established sole authority and became the emperor of Rome? Is that bad? Didn't every place have some king or emperor back then? Actually, Your Honor, the Roman people had overthrown their kings centuries before to establish a republic. A government meant to serve the people, not the privilege of the ruling family. And it was Octavius who destroyed this tradition. Octavius was a model public servant. At the age of 16, he was elected to the College of Pontiffs that supervised religious worship. He fought for Rome in Hispania alongside his great uncle Caesar and took up the responsibility of avenging Caesar's death when the corrupt oligarchs in the Senate betrayed and murdered him. Caesar had been a power hungry tyrant who tried to make himself a king while co- consorting with his Egy- Egyptian queen Cleopatra. After his death, Octavius joined his general Mark Antony in starting a civil war that tore Rome apart, then stabbed his ally in the back to increase his own power. Antony was a fool. He waged a disastrous campaign in Parthia and plotted to turn Roman territories into personal kingdoms for himself and Cleopatra. Isn't that was i- isn't that what Caesar had been accused of? Well, so Octavius destroyed Antony for trying to become a king and then became one himself. That's right. You can see the megalomania even in his adopted title, the illustrious one. That was that was religiously hon- honor- honorific, and Aug- Augustus didn't seek power for his own sake. As winner of the civil war and commander of the most troops, it was his duty to restore law and order to Rome so that other factions didn't continue fighting. He didn't restore the law, he made it subordinate to him. Not true. Augustus worked to restore the Senate's prestige, improved food security for the lower classes, and relinquished control of the army when he resigned his uh, co- consul post. Mere optics. He used his military influence and personal wealth to stack the Senate in his favor while retaining the power of a tribune and the right to celebrate military triumphs. He kept control of the provinces with the most legions, and if that wasn't enough, he assumed the consul position twice to promote his grandchildren. He was clearly trying to establish a dynasty. But what did he do with all that power? Glad you asked, your Honor. Augustus's accomplishments were almost too many to name. He established consistent taxation for all the provinces, ending private exploitation by local tax of, officials. He personally financed the network of roads and employed couriers so that news and troops could travel easily throughout the realm. And it was under Augustus that many of Rome's famous public buildings were constructed. The writers of the time were nearly unanimous in praising his rule. Did the writers have any other choice? Well, Augustus exiled plenty of people on vague charges, including Ovid, one of Rome's greatest poets. And you forgot to mention the intrusive laws regarding citizens' personal lives, punishing adultery, restricting marriages between social classes, and even penalties for remaining unmarried. He was trying to improve the citizenry and instill discipline, and he succeeded. His legacy speaks for itself. 40 years of internal stability, a professional army that expanded Rome's frontiers in all directions, and government still remembered as a model of civic virtue. His legacy was an empire that would go on to wage endless conquest until it is collapsed. And the tradition of military autocracy, in any time a dictator in general uniform commits atrocities while claiming to act on behalf of the people, we have Augustus Caesar to thank. So you're saying Augustus was a good emperor, and you're also saying that there is no such thing. Well, we are used to celebrating historical leaders for their achievements and victories, but to ask whether and whether an individual should have such power in the first place is to put history itself on trial.